I called my boyfriend crying because my mom passed away and needed him home, but he chose drinks with the boys over consoling me, then told his friends I was using her death to control him, so now he gets to see how controlling single life can be. Posted by you/Thorough Dearest. I have tried posting this too many times. I've never used Reddit before, only seen videos, but I'm hoping to get some much needed insight. I have been in a relationship with my boyfriend for 4 years. Our relationship has been very good for the most part, some fights here and there but nothing worth noting, until a week ago. I got a call from my brother telling me my mom had passed away last Friday. Growing up, I was never super close with her, we were usually fighting, but over the last 5 years our relationship improved tremendously. We text throughout the week and every Sunday I would go on 4 to 5 hour drives with her on speaker to keep me company, talking about anything and everything under the sun. She became my best friend. For context, my boyfriend knows how close we had gotten and had even joined me for some of those drives. Now is the problem. My boyfriend has a fairly close group of friends that he keeps up with, usually gaming with them throughout the week. Then, once a month, him and his friends will hang out and drink. He let me know a few days prior that he would be hanging out with them that Friday. When I got the news, I immediately called him, breaking down and telling him I didn't know what to do and that I knew I needed to be with him tonight. He went from consoling me to saying, "I let you know a few days ago I have plans with my friends, I only get to see them once a month." I told him I understood, but I really needed him and I'm sure they would reschedule, to which he said they definitely wouldn't be able to as they all have their own responsibilities. After some more time going back and forth, I gave in and said I would be okay with him going as long as he left early. Since he leaves at 7 p.m., I said I would like for him to come back by 11. He agreed. I spent the night going through texts with her, photos, everything I could. I tried to distract myself with other things but nothing worked. Eventually, 10 p.m. rolls around and I text my boyfriend, "Will you be leaving in an hour?" To which he responds, "You told me 12, so I'll be leaving then." I told him I said 11 and I was standing by that. He didn't respond after, and came home at 12. I asked him why he didn't reply and why he didn't just come back an hour earlier. He immediately got upset with me, telling me I was being selfish for ruining his night with his friends. Him spending an extra hour there means nothing since he still left early, and I would be fine since I didn't spend my childhood with her anyways. I told him I didn't even want him to go out with them that day to begin with since I had just gotten the news, but I agreed to it under that specific condition, and so had he. He could also just catch up with his friends when they gamed during the week. The fight ended with him telling me I was again being selfish as he doesn't get to see them in person often, and that I shouldn't expect him to drop everything for me. We've been fairly cold to each other since, which has left me overthinking and reevaluating our relationship. On one hand, I'm extremely heartbroken he wasn't there for me and know that's not something I want for my future, but on the other hand, his words have definitely gotten to me and I feel bad for separating him from his friends. I also know it would break me more to lose someone else so close to me. Where do I go from here? Top comments. Commenter 1, if my mother passed away and my partner didn't come home from being with his friends, that would be it for me. He's trying to tell you what he didn't do was bad because he told you it was happening, you weren't close with her in childhood, and is genuinely trying to make it your problem. You're grieving, and your boyfriend of 4 years doesn't think it's a big deal. Create a plan and end this relationship. Commenter 2, he is totally Darvoing her. Darvo is shorthand for classic abuser responses, it stands for deny, act, reverse victim, and offender. Your boyfriend did all of them. He denied that he agreed to come home at 11, he attacked you for asking him for emotional support, and then made himself the victim of your demands, instead of letting you be the child who just lost her mother and needs emotional support. Get out now. This is a man who will always choose his needs over yours. Commenter 3, sounds like the boys are more important to him than his girlfriend and her intense grief. My wife would have filed for divorce the next day if I went out with friends after her mother passed last year. Commenter 4, I've treated complete strangers as more of a priority than your boyfriend treats you. If I had met someone that day and they found out their mom just passed, I wouldn't leave them to go drinking, let alone if they were someone I care about. End it. This guy doesn't care about you at all. Update, 2 days later. I want to start off by saying thank you so much to everyone that commented. I spent a good while reading every single comment, so for everyone that gave me advice and shared their stories, please know I am extremely grateful for you. I also really appreciate everyone that gave me their condolences. Now for the update. A little while after posting, one of my boyfriend's friends reached out to me. He asked me if I had posted it, because if I did, he had something to tell me. I said yes, and he told me before my boyfriend left their boys' night, he had started complaining about me to everyone there, telling them I was being a psycho and forcing him to leave. He completely lied about my relationship with my mom and told them I wasn't close with her at all, rarely talked to her, anytime I mentioned her I did nothing but badmouth her, and that I was using her passing as a way to control him. I also learned throughout our entire relationship he'd tell his friends about every fight of ours and again would completely lie about everything that happened in them. For context, I'm not close with any of his friends and he had apparently told them I was faking my personality whenever I interacted with them and badmouthed them when they weren't around as well. Ironic, so I don't necessarily blame them for believing it. The only reason why his friend reached out was because my boyfriend had done the same thing in past relationships, and he was starting to get suspicious, and tired of it. I confronted my boyfriend about it afterwards, and he denied everything for a while before ultimately admitting to it all. He started crying, saying he doesn't know why he's like this but that he loves me, can't live without me, anything and everything you can think of. I packed whatever I could and told him I needed time to think. I'd be staying with my brother in the meantime as I had to drive out to go to my mom's funeral and go through her things, so, for the few that asked if I had another support system, my family lives a few states away as my boyfriend, and I started out long distance, and I moved away from them a couple years ago for him. The few new friends I made are away traveling for the summer, which I couldn't join in on for numerous reasons. I also couldn't get out of bed for the majority of the week so I didn't leave sooner. What he didn't know at the time was that I didn't need time to think, and I had already decided I would not be coming back. As I said in my original post, there was nothing awful worth noting about him during our relationship. He didn't treat me exceptionally well, but not terrible either. So, prior to his friend reaching out, I genuinely didn't know what to think of the situation. To me, it was out of character for him. My main thought was the news of her passing might have hurt him a lot as well, and he didn't know how to handle it. But, I now know that he was an entirely different person with his friends, and what was out of character for me, was completely in character for them. It definitely scares me to think of what would have happened if I didn't post and never learned the things he was saying when I wasn't around. I also have no clue what I'd do if another life-changing event happened and put something else above being there for me. So, to everyone that wanted an update, just know I have completely removed him from my life. No amount of tears and fake apologies will convince me otherwise. He wasn't there when I needed him and that's enough, but the lying and fake stories he'd share on top of that is terrifying. I know my mom would rip me a new one if she heard all of this, and I did anything other than leave him. I will always be grateful for this little corner of the internet and the awful future it saved me from.